Hello everyone, my name is Miro. Thank you for joining me today. For those of you who are new, my hair usually looks better than this, but today is not a hair day. We have finished with my series that you can watch on the channel, Hoya of the Week, and we are starting something new, but also something very familiar, which is Hoya chores. I need to take care of my entire collection. Almost all the plants need some work. Whether it be retrellising, trellising, cutting back a little bit, repotting. There is a lot of repotting. There are several plants that need to move out of pond still. So there is a lot of plant chores, and I want to, when I finish these, because that's gonna be one, when I finish these videos, I want to have a comprehensive list of all of my Hoyas, where they are, and how many there are. I have a list from last year. On that list, there are, I think, 380 Hoyas. We can actually check that. How many Hoyas Miro had? 341. Okay, I was wrong. There have been 341 Hoyas, and I have stopped adding to that list in May of 2023. Those of you who have been around know that I've got a couple of more since May of 2023. They have multiplied, some have, which is like fine, goodbye, but I am interested to know how many I have. I constantly think I'm around 500. I don't think so. I think it's more like gonna be 420. That's actually quite accidental that I said that. I do apologize. No pun intended. Yeah, I think it's around 4 to 450 Hoyas, 400 to 450. See, I can't talk. Which is still a lot. It's nothing to, I mean, also I will be always getting more, as we know. And that is just not counting the seedlings that I have. I have about 5 or 4 seedlings from my Valiki subspecies tenebrosa and 16 for my flagellata. I'm not counting those, nor am I counting any duplicate plants. If I have 2 of the same plant, the same clone, same species, in 2 pots, that counts as 1. So we will start to slowly go through all of my plant chores. But before we continue, let me just show you with the video that I recorded before this how much work there is to be done. Alright, so this is my biggest grow tent. Things are, I believe, the messiest here, and a lot of the plants are tangled with one another. For example, that Verstegi is tangled with Hippalasia. As you can see, half of my paradisea is dead there. This plant with big leaves is albiflora. She has went all the way up, and she's seeking a way out from the tent. She starts all the way down here. So she goes up, 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 which is nice. That plant in the back that's tangled, that is from this apoda. She also goes that way. A lot of the plants are joined, like 3 or 4 plants are joined into one. It's a mess of propagations down here that I need to take care of. My undulata is wrapped around several plants, but she's looking very nice, and I don't think I will entangle her. Some of these need to be joined. Here, this is part of my puvoensis, and then next to it we have a plant which I forgot the name of. Ruthia, I believe that is. That needs to get out of the moss. And yeah, it's a lot of plants here that are really, really messy. Some of them need to be cut, restarted. I will try to minimize that. My melliflua, she has went all the way up again, and she is starting to grow leaves, and she went through this basket, so we might need to cut that, not really sure. It's quite a problematic situation with this grow tent. A lot of these plants I would like to retrellis. A lot of them need to be repotting from pond, like this one. This Hamiltoniorum, this is a new leaf that needs to be repotted from pond and put on a normal trellis. Globulosa in the back from Cow Bang needs to be put in an organic mix on a normal trellis. So yeah, a lot of the plants need to be taken care of here. In this tent we have this absolutely lovely AH020 from Seed blooming. These mostly need retrellising. My Mitrata has been transitioned from pond to organic mix. She has struggling, honestly, not gonna lie. Was to be expected. The plants, those are Flagellata seedlings, they need to be trellised. I need to move some of them out of this tent and make space. I don't know if you can see, but that's, all of that is really, really crowded here. I mean, you can't even see everything. It's just right, like really, really a mess of everything you can imagine. And then we have a tent on top of the tents. Let's go there. This one is not so bad. Most of these only need to be trellised and repotted and put in decent pots. So that's actually not a big issue nor a primary concern. So we will probably come back to that at some later point in these videos. This is messy, but my cabinets need to be also taken care of. I'm gonna put a lot more plants into these. Some of those also need to be cut and some need to be just repotted, but I need to fit more plants. These need to be trellised, of course. I have to figure out where I'm gonna put the alocasia. These can live here. I'm going to put another light and then enable this for Hoyas, but that's a different story. So these need to be taken care of, and I'm gonna move in a lot of my lacunosas that are in this cabinet. I'm going to empty this cabinet and make a similar situation like this one here, but it will be only for Hoyas. So I think I will put my thin-leaved Hoyas in here, something cascading for like a nice look. So that is going to be taken care of, but not today. Most of the wall is fine. I moved one of the Hoyas all the way there. I need to put Hoyas in there and a light. Well, can't talk about it. Some of these in the window need to be repotted as well from pond, not urgent, so we're not gonna do it. You have seen me put some of these hanging Hoyas there. You have seen me do these in the video. I need to put a light here, a light here. I have a lot of Hoyas outside that need to be brought back inside and hung, but that's more of a fall chore. Here I think only one needs to be put in regular mix. By the way, my graffiti is blooming a lot. These are mostly fine. My Loki and my multifloras. Need to put a light there and some Hoyas. These do not belong here. This we will repot. That's quite a lot of work that we have to do, and I will essentially not record all of it. I will select what I think is the most interesting, and today we will deal with, I think, 4 to 6 Hoyas, and I think all of them are in pond. I will try to repot all of them to organic mix and to trellis them, to re-trellis them on bamboo hoops so they take a little bit less space. And some of these look great. Some of these look a little bit tired because of environmental conditions. A couple of them have been exposed to very, very high light in my southeast facing window. And we have been having the warmest summer ever. It has been not only warm, but the sun is just relentless. So they didn't necessarily burn a bit, but they are bleached. You will see a massive difference between the Hoyas that I show you from my grow tent, which are like deep, lush, healthy green, versus the ones in the window, which are not. Also, I just want to say, I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got here, but here we are, and that's that. I will just need more coffee. I had an all-nighter, basically. I was editing last night until 3 a.m. and my sister went on a trip this morning, so I had to get up at 7:30, so that's so nice. 4 hours of sleep, I love it. It was actually 3:30 when I went to bed. All right, let us get into some plant chores. I will grab all the plants, which I will show you because I think we're gonna have a mess here. So that's fun. It's always fun to see someone else drop a plant or two. And we will begin. All right, so that is an angle. And that's all I have to say. This tent is incredibly messy. I don't remember it ever being in this state. Okay, I don't ever remember this being in such chaos, but here we are. Some plants that need work, like this Hoya, we are going to leave for future Miro, because you always have to leave problems for your future self. Ooh, my tent is also... I watered yesterday, and to be quite frank with you, I did the poorest of the poor jobs, so there's water everywhere. Okay, so I need to move some things here on the bottom, which don't know if you can see. That philodendron is still struggling. I tried to root it in moss, and now I'm trying to put it in a cup with no water. There is an aerial root. There was actually water. I will have to fill that right away. So we need to move some of these smaller plants. They also need a repot, but I'm not quite sure when I will get to those. They still look okay. They just need to be... This needs to be watered even though it was watered yesterday. How interesting. Or maybe I skipped it. Let's move stuff around. We also have a bunch of microphylla. These propagations can actually go outside of the tent. We have a bunch of microphylla here, which I had a different plan for, a different spot for them. Microphylla is currently Hoya with the smallest leaves that we know. And I have about 6 propagations of it. It's quite rare. Don't know if my camera will focus. This is one of the smaller propagations. They are all growing really well. You have seen me repot this, and I said if you want an update, I will give it to you. These are some of the bigger ones, which honestly don't know if my camera is focusing on. I can't see. Probably not. So those need to find a home within my collection where they're not going to be on the floor of the tent where I can easily knock them over. Because this is not a plant that easily forgives. This is not a plant that you can just drop and hope that she will live. You need to baby her a little bit. Not a lot, but a bit. Someone is about to flower. I have a lost vine here of some Hoya, which I don't really know who she is, but she's gonna flower. She probably traces back to some upper level of the mess. So we're getting to our first one, which is elephant. Strangely, something is entangled in elephant. Oh, it's Ruthie. Okay. Ruthie needs serious attention. We will get to it. Elephant needs serious attention too, because elephant hasn't been growing for a while. And while this Hoya is slow, it should not be this slow. So I'm suspecting either a poor state of roots or mites, potentially both. Both things can be true. And considering how dusty it is, my goodness. Next one is Hoya that is growing right now, so that doesn't make me super happy to repot, but she's also growing in many different directions. Thank you very much. She is something that hasn't been growing well for me, and then now she sort of started to do really well. This is a cross with Vitellina, I believe, and Lambi. So EPC 1015. Unfortunately, getting stuck with a billion other plants. Okay, so she has a couple of growth points there, going wild and cuckoo. It got into my hair. I think we might be able to put this one even in a smaller pot, because I don't think the root system is massive. Yep. I think we lost some of that root system. And now we do need to get up there all the way towards the back, which, good Lord help me. I'm probably not even going to show this footage because it's going to be a mess. If I end up falling or something, you're not seeing this. Okay, so I think the best way is to take some of the Hoyas out that are not tangled, if there are such candidates. You probably can't see anything, but Is that my fault? Yes. I'm gonna take some verticillatus out. What is growing? Ricardo looks a little bit underwatered. So I don't know how well you will be able to see this, but my Piastolepis, which is all the way here, wrapped itself around Ricardo and is going somewhere. I mean, it has left the tent. Now I'm trying to untangle it. Let me try to place my camera here so you can kind of get a sense of what's going on. Do you see anything? Oh my gosh. You don't see anything. So I'm essentially trying to grab it here and see how it's really out of the tent. It went through the plastic here. Out of all the places, it did not have to go through that plastic, so I do have to cut that. Honestly, one of the most annoying thing about Hoyas is exactly this. They never grow where they are even remotely supposed to grow. If the vine isn't dying back, you do have to cut it for one reason or another. R.I.P. R.I.P. Bye-bye. Okay, so maybe now we can untangle that Piastolepis. Also, these lights are high voltage. I'm pretty sure if I stuck my head into them, I will get electrified or electrocuted or whatever. Wow, we have one more Hoya. There's Hoya Joy. I'm not gonna lie, being in the cramped space of the grow tent with the light right above your head and trying to kind of just breathe in, but like suck in your entire body so you're smaller, is really exhausting. It's making me really exhausted, and it's time like these where I just don't wish to have this many Hoyas, even though I love them, because of just extraordinary amount of space that they have taken up and how much some of these grew. I think I'm gonna try to get that albiflora out with paradisea, and I think we're actually gonna do that today, and because that's gonna look so much better. Also, that situation is pretty dire, and I will repot what I told you, but I might do some of that off of camera. And obviously there are gonna be a bunch of other things to do, because albiflora is also leaving the tent, and I just need them to stop. So let's go back in. I mean, we are at a point here where they're so tangled that I either need to break the vines. I'm just gonna, this is just not useful. Something got my shirt. I need to cut off, again, part of the vine because it's just not gonna get out otherwise. Albiflora is going with paradisea. And around albiflora, I do have a caudata. So to release albiflora, I need to get rid of caudata. So let's give it a go. 2 plants coming, or 5 more. Oh, yep, Piastolepis is coming with me. Okay, we're just not ready yet. I'm starting to lose my temper because something else is... It is gonna fall. No. No. No, no. You and your aerial roots and your vines everywhere. Stop it. You are not tangled. You caught her on your way out. Please quit it. For the love of God, I will fucking lose my mind. Okay, that was nice. That was nice and easy. Loved it. Wow, this is activating my asthma and all of it. That was hard. That was hard. Being bent over in the tent, not pleasant. Do not recommend. I do have that Ricardo back there, so I will try to get him out. And that's about it that we're gonna do today. And then tomorrow I have some other Hoyas that I need to get out of there, but yeah, just... Whew. Oh boy. We can do this, Miro. One more. This is easy. No one is tangled. Think positive. Think untangled. Okay. Stop that. Okay, that was actually easy. With Ricardo. Oh, I almost fell back into my tent. All right, let's change the angle. I'm going to be very honest with you. I am not quite sure how we're gonna do any of this because there is no space. Wow, my hair is just getting worse. I have no idea how we're gonna do this, but here we have Hoya albiflora, and that one is not looking, I mean, it's looking fine. There is like calcium deposits on it, which I have no memory of. I don't know why they should be there, to be honest with you, but there they are. I think it's like dust and calcium deposits. It does need to be watered and obviously untangled. You can see some of the gorgeous leaves of that albiflora. That is a fantastic leaf. Gosh darn it. Paradisea. Half of it is dead. Can you see? One, I had two plants inside. One decided to croak for reasons known only to her. But, you know, good riddance and goodbye. So I'm gonna first do that, take that out of the pot, and then maybe we can untangle this. Once again, I'm gonna keep adjusting the camera until, I think this is like one of the best angles that you're gonna get here. So I don't really know where to start. There is just no plan on how to do this except to just start cutting what I see is dry and get it out. This has died months ago. And you know that I have been able to grow this plant really well. I just don't know what happened with her. This happened after the oil treatment. I don't think it's because of that, but I don't know. For whatever reason, the root... Huh. What? So now I'm looking, and it's not at all that actually one of them is dead. Both of them are alive. I mean, how much alive is the question, but they're not at all both dead. I see green from both of them, so I'm actually quite... Oh, I know what happened. Ah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you know what happened to my paradisea? I was taking cuttings for sale and for my friend, and because it's such a plant where everything is so bushy, and I'm not really sure which way is which, I chopped off the vine and I disconnected it from the roots. I chopped the wrong end. Well, okie dokie. So that's what happened. I chopped the wrong end of the plant. Wow, how heartbreaking. So both of them are actually alive. I just really chopped the wrong end because it's so tangled, and it looked to me like it was a good place, but I see this is like very close to the bottom, so I must have not paid enough attention, and it was really odd to me. I thought this was due to oil treatment, but the symptoms were different. It was dehydrated. It's almost, I didn't water it, but I knew it had water, so I'm like, okay, one of them is rotting. I can't deal with it. And I just let it, but apparently one of them has been just disconnected from the main root system. So that is a very stupid thing that I did. And however, I will say this in my defense. I know other people have done this. I know a very seasoned collector who did this as well. But she did notice. She did notice. But I know that she did it. So you know who you are. Please say in the comments so people don't come too hard at me, say that this happens. Oh gosh. Well, Yeah. On the bright side, there's nothing too wrong with this plant then, which is actually, it's actually positive news. If you listen, if you think about it this way, this is actually good news because I thought one of the plant was dead and I didn't know why. That the root system just, collapsed or whatever. And that's not the case. It's totally on me not paying enough attention when taking cuttings. So, if you look at it from that way, this is really actually good news. We can all rejoice. Bad news about this is that I did break one more vine. And another thing about Hoya paradisea, she is really a weed at this point in my collection. And even though this is going to reduce her quite a bit, I mean, weed is a weed. She will regrow. There's nothing. This vine is completely dead. So I'm just randomly chopping into it. And don't worry, I'm not going to cut anything green this time. But I'm trying to get it out in small pieces so I don't break anything that's green. Maybe if I'm very, very careful, very, very mindful, and very, very patient, which is a lot of very, very varies, I might be able to actually retrellis this now. I actually got on a phone call with a friend. Things are happening. I had to cut the upper trellis here. There's a lot of paradisea dead vines. We're still not done with that. I'm trying to untangle albiflora from paradisea at this moment. It's been an hour. Has it been an hour? It's been half an hour. It's been half an hour at this point. I think we are hitting a point where I'm not really sure how we can continue, because what I have is paradisea wrapping around itself, but at the same time trapping albiflora with her. Sort of albiflora unfortunately went through this hoop that paradisea made, so I'm trying to sort of make space to get her out without damaging anything. And that's not so easy because she really got herself into a pickle. It would be easier to cut some of this. I don't want to cut albiflora because even though she does grow fast, nothing is fast as paradisea. So I'm going to gently try to put this on myself as I untangle this. Somehow, I don't know. I really had no idea this is the state of things. I knew it was going to be hard, but I thought it was going to be a little bit less hard. I'm definitely going to need to cut this part off. There are not many leaves there, so I will do it. I know it's unfortunate, but again, this is growing like a weed. All the vines that have no leaves, I don't feel bad about cutting. That I can handle. I don't want to cut big long vines if they have leaves. I know I said in the past that I like paradisea on a tower trellis, but honestly, maybe a hoop. We'll see where we get with her, how we can sort of sort her out. This is going to be challenging to retrellis. It also doesn't help that all of these have like tiny aerial roots and they grab onto everything. But I think we might be getting to a point where we can take out albiflora. It looks so. Wow! Wow, 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 wow. We have one Hoya albiflora and a lot of dead paradisea, which we're gonna fix. Okay, so one Hoya albiflora that she needs to be retrellised. I sort of was hoping this is gonna continue growing, but we don't have anything here. We do have a peduncle, so I will leave it. I also pinned it down, but I don't think she rooted really. It wasn't pinned down enough. So what I will do is I will trellis this. What I should really do is take this out of the pot and fix that trellis, drill some holes. Should I do it? Because this is not stable. Let's do it. Let's first check how the roots are. I haven't seen the roots on this plant in a while. Oh, actually not too much out. Okay, because these are not too much out, what I will do is I will grab my tray and I will actually fix this trellis so it doesn't keep moving. So I will drill the holes as you have seen in one of my previous videos. I will show you the finished result and we will just put her back. So this is going to be a gentle unpot and putting back stuff. We are really going cuckoo. Okay, I caught up a bit with my friend. Plant chores are a great time to catch up with your friends, and even though I am recording a video, technically you don't really need to see all of it. I gotta tell you, if I had faster internet, I would much more enjoy this if this was like a live stream. But unfortunately, my internet capabilities do not allow for such things. So what I did here so far is I unpotted this and fastened the trellis for this pot. And now I'm just gonna trellis her back onto this. I like to kind of wrap them around a little bit, around the bamboo trellis, but we're not really able to do that. Hooping this plant through is hard. The foliage is pretty massive, so I can't really do that. Instead, I'm just going to attach it and that's it. But my ideal situation is to go a little bit through the trellis, if that makes sense, and kind of wrap it really around this. But, you know, not all the time we can have what's most ideal. Maybe when the new vine starts to grow, I can then get it to hoop around the trellis. Maybe with this end we can kind of get it to go through a little bit. Now, with this vine, what I will try to actually do this time is to pin it down. Now this is going to look a little bit odd. Some of these leaves are going to face down, which again is not prettiest, but that's what you get. Maybe they will orient themselves eventually. Sometimes it takes a little bit time for them to look nice again after trellising, but I do find that eventually they do. They do start looking nice again. I'm really happy that actually I got to sort this out. This is one of the tasks that I was fearing the most, which might sound ridiculous to you, but it's really true. I was fearing this the most. I just didn't really know how we're going to untangle this, but hey, here we are. We faced our fears, and it is wonderful. We faced our biggest fear almost here. Hopefully this will root. I think I do have some mix here, so I think I might put a little bit mix on the top. This is such a beautiful, beautiful species. I really love the new leaves, the new foliage. That when it comes in, it's red. I really like it. It's sent to me from my friend Farah, and it's not even that old, to be quite frank with you, but she's doing really well. One thing about this plant is that I don't think we can indefinitely grow her on this trellis. There's just not going to be enough space. So we will either have to cut it soon, and I don't want to do that because there is a peduncle here, so I'm hoping for a quick flower. Like, these leaves are just incredible. That's just incredible. Truly a wonderful species that grows super fast. I don't think this one is for regular home. I think this is more appropriate for a tent, a grow tent. It's not for a cabinet. This is way too big for a cabinet. It grows way too fast. I don't think this is even a year old, and if it is, it's just a year old from a cutting. This was the original cutting, so it grows really fast. It's like hooped around this trellis twice at this point, and we're going for more. I don't think she loves to be trellised. One part here didn't grow any leaves that I trellised initially as the vine was growing, so I think she really wants to climb, and I felt confident about trellising her now because I got leaves on all of these, so I think This is going to continue to grow because I'm not pointing it down, I'm pointing it up. So it just needs to find something to hold on to. I've been trying to think of a way to hack this, to sort of take a hook and then let down from a hook a rope from the roof of my tent and allow them to sort of climb around that. Now I will add a little bit mix here, which I already forgot to do. We are already 2.5 hours in and we didn't achieve much. And yes, I was talking with my friend, but I was working all the time. So yeah, we just have a lot of work. It will probably turn into another long night with plants, but that's fine. I added just a little bit to cover that, and the plant will go somewhere. I will shower her. She needs a good soaking, even though she has been watered. I think I can start to employ the reservoir on this plant. I just realized that you can't see anything. Though she doesn't seem to make a massive root system, which is surprising. I thought that root system is going to be pretty big. Now paradisea, we still have to fix that one. The rest of them are not going to be so hard. Let's continue here with paradisea. I did have to remove that top trellis to get that plant off. I will try as gently as possible to untangle this and see if we can sort of get her retrellised. The growth that I cut off was one of the things that was filling it out initially, because after that she started to grow all over the place and then it became much more difficult to manage the trellising. So there is enough plant to fill out this trellis again, it's just that it's all over the place and I don't know if we can get her back on that. And I've been thinking about actually restarting this Hoya and putting her on a hoop trellis. Oh, I chopped off something there again. If I can somehow get most of this untangled, I think I could put it on a hoop. This one really had its moment where she looked gorgeous. Thanks to me, that moment is over. So this is where we are at with her. So as you can see, she really is all over the place. So I will just try here to figure out what's happening, to figure out how we can make this look nice again. And I think we will have to sacrifice our trellis for this, but the result might be amazing. It might be horrible. This might be one of the bad ideas that I have. I'm doing this without ever asking you what I should do, but I'm starting to think that these plant chores could be a great platform for Q&As. It would be a great platform for streaming, to be honest, but we can't do that. This vine, there's a lot of vines that are bare-ish, which, as you know, I don't like, but this plant does branch out. We seemingly are getting somewhere with this. I'm actually shocked. So I might even be able to do more here than I anticipated. So I'm going very, very slowly here. When these thin-leaved hoyas get woody, I do find them to be a little bit more sensitive. I mean, they're sensitive anyways. You have to be a little bit careful when you handle them. But especially when they're so woody and old. Because this is 3 years old and a lot of the stems have gone woody. Not the new ones. The new ones are green, but the old ones, they're showing their age. I need to learn to shut up. 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 I really need to learn how. Need to learn how to shut up. I need to learn to shut up. I'm gonna marry the night. I'm gonna marry the night. I'm gonna give up on the life. I'm a warrior queen. Live passionately tonight. I'm gonna marry the knock. I'm gonna make a love to stock. I'm a soldier to my own emptiness. I'm a winner. I'm gonna marry the night. Okay, so I'm going to cut this trellis to get the plant out, and then we will decide if she's gonna be in a bamboo or not. I sort of had a vision of restarting Hoya paradisea and putting her on one of those golden trellises, but those are small. I mean, sure, I can make a larger one, but that's just gonna use up so much of my wire. Not entirely sure where I need to cut. I'm just like cutting into this with no plan. The trellis is falling apart. But I'm also trying to keep the vines separate as I untangle them, because I know for sure there are two plants here. Both are essentially from Camilla, but one is from Camilla, one is from Betsy. But they're all from Camilla's mother plant. I'm trying to divide them into two sides. I hope it's one of those things where it's like, trust the process. I'm gonna marry the night. I'm not gonna cry anymore. I'm gonna marry the night. Leave nothing on the streets to explore. Mama marry the night. I'm gonna lace up my boots. Yes. Throwing some lettering crews. Down straight in love in my fishing claws. I'm a sinner. Let's check the roots. I just don't think we can repot this. This pot, I don't want to damage it. Now, this is not a good idea, yet I shall be proceeding with a bad idea. We're getting into the experimental territory, of which we somehow always do here on basie.plants, which I believe is why you subscribe, for the chaos that's about to ensue. I'm going to try to repot this. So I'm just dipping this out, seeing how much pon. Okay, I thought more pon is going to come off. This is the end. I am trying to squeeze this as to best of my ability. I think what I'm going to do, we are going to cut the roots. I'm going to cut these roots because I do want this plant not to be in pon. And actually there's a lot of rotten roots too here, so that's not the worst. I thought initially they looked healthy, but now that I look, there's a lot of roots that have rotten in that reservoir. There's a lot of healthy ones, but you know, see how those come off easily, and I didn't really cut that much into them. So that's actually, once again, kind of good. I'm really looking forward to the most strangest of the things here, like cutting the vine, cutting the roots. Hey, it's all about gaslighting yourself. I know this isn't really what we signed up for this day, but to make the video shorter, I will end it probably after I repot Hoya paradisea. Yeah, all of this really needs washing. There is what a lot of people call algae. Again, I'm not sure if this is algae or cyanobacteria, but in any case, I think we can now get her out. It is stuck to the bottom of that wick. Let's just tap her. And really hope not to break anything. Try not to. Wow. So, as we can see, mud on bottom. Look at that mud and nastiness. This is what I was talking about. I'm so happy to have this as an example. Look at that. That is pon. So that is from lava rock. This has been washed pon. It is my DIY pon, but that is hard as a rock. And I do need to break that apart. That is hard as a rock. I think we're going to lose a lot of the root system here. So this plant, I might actually need to restart it in the end, because this is not good. Even though overall I would say she's growing okay. Maybe some of those leaves falling was due to this. This is very, very, very stressful for the plant. This is just not great, but at the end of the day, I think we will get a better root system. I'm gonna try and rinse this out because, yeah, there's just a lot of roots here. This is not gonna go well, but it's gonna go. Welcome back. It is day 2 of cleaning out my tent. We have not achieved a lot yesterday. You do see other Hoyas here that I planned to repot yesterday. We did not have time. I will actually put that in a separate video because this one is probably getting way too long because, you know, of the complexity of untangling that paradisea, repotting that. We did lose a significant portion of the root system, but it was not a great root system. Now I will show you the plant, it is in the back. I will show you what I did both with albiflora and with paradisea. So first, albiflora, we didn't do much. I essentially added a bit of the mix on top here. I watered her thoroughly and very gently trellised her. I really hope there's no dieback. I did take her out to fasten this trellis, so now we can sort of lift her up by this. I did not attach this, but because of the tight fit with the zip ties, it sort of stays in place, but she's looking really, really good. This is one of my favorite Hoyas. I think the leaves are simply gorgeous. If you disagree, I don't know what to tell you. Not a friend of the channel. I think these are really, really nice. They're especially nice when they come in like that bronze color, which really does not show well on camera, but it is fantastic. And the leaves are pretty big. It's pretty impressive. Like your first impression of this Hoya when you get it and when it starts to grow is wow. So she definitely is deserving of one of the favorites. The flowers are absolutely stunning. This one did make a peduncle very early on. I don't know when she will flower. It could be that this one needs more warmth. I will have to actually look up exactly where she grows. I think this is from Papua New Guinea, but I really need to see what exactly are the conditions. Is it higher altitude or what? Now paradisea is fastened, and I did that because I think that I will probably hang it in the tent, sort of away from anything that she can wrap herself around. I will admit this is not exactly how I thought this was going to turn out. And we did lose some of the leaves that are developing. Some of them look a little bit burned. So we are probably going to lose those, to be quite honest with you. But that's, you know, it's a normal reaction. We did lose a lot of the root system, but I think it's for the better. I think if the root system wants to recover, it will be much healthier. We are down to the healthy root system. Of course, because it was such a significant loss, we may not see that recovery that fast. I don't know. But I did repot her to my regular Hoya mix, which is bark and pumice, and I did water her. I will keep an eye on her. I think I will move her closer to the door of my tent so I can frequently water her because this will dry out faster. But essentially, I think she will be okay. I really hope she will be okay. And then I'm gonna sort of loop her around this trellis until we get just a matted paradisea look. And that's essentially the plan here. We did lose some of the buds, but I did expect that she's not gonna bloom after that, but it had to, really had to be done. And I do have several cuttings from this plant. Again, I see a lot of dry tips here now, but it's sort of the downside of you doing any intervention on plants, especially Hoyas with their very delicate growing tips. Even some of the ones that I took out of the tent, even though they're not particularly sensitive, I think the change of the environment from being in the tent to being in the room with the AC on, which is very dry, obviously, it just caused the dieback of the tops of the vines, which unfortunately is inevitable in some cases. But anyway, paradisea finished. Wish her luck. Hopefully she will be fine. And with that, we will conclude this video. I will, of course, continue. Actually, after this, I'm going into the next video. So you will see me in the same shirt next time you tune in, and I do not apologize for that. But we are continuing. Let me know what chores you did. Do not tell me that this is ugly, because I know. It's gonna look better. I really thought this was going to look better, but hey, positive thing, at least both of the plants are still alive, so one can look forward to that. Have a wonderful day. I will see you very soon in the next video, and goodbye. I would like to take a moment to thank all of my patrons for their incredible support. A massive shout out to my $5 patrons. My 2 anonymous patrons, Alex von Siebenthal, Amber Clear, Anne Margaret Moon, Angela Bernard, Angela Parrish, Anna P, Ann C, Anojka K, Aspen Drake, Betsy, Brett Noble, Candy Taft, Karen, Catherine Molina, Connie Pagano, Daniela, Danube Daniels, Daria Kaminska, Deborah Violet, Dili Heredia, Diane Sikorsky, Edith W, Aaron Keenan, Eleni Saxon, Ellen M. Mortal, Farah, Gathering Moss, Gina Geise, Go Green Tropical, Gross, it's Kyle, Heather Uppenkamp, Hoji Scott, Yana Griffin, Jessica Chio, Jonas Bayer, Hjort Larson, Joshua Davis Riley, Jovan Denot, Kara, Catherine P, Casey Gross, Callie Gallagher, Kelso, Kimberly Polka, Kiwi Mochi, Christy Ehrlich, Ellen, Berglee Mooney, Lisa Mary MPLS, Lucas Erchevisky, Mandy Milliken, Marcel Har, Maria Stein, Maria Yarmolich, Mars B, Marty Miller, Mary Rose, Melissa Walker, Michael Curley, Michelle Herron, Nicole Ferranti, Mirka Grun Rus, Moa Edmond, Nelly Yang, Niha Basu, Nicole Moreau, Nina Nguyen, Anita Macy, Odette, PJ Plan Druid, Rachel Peterson, Sandra Cornelia, Sherry Kumar, Sophia Rian, Stephanie H2O, Tessa Martins, Tia B, Trista Bailey, Tristan Thomas, Wendy Rossman, Xenia Green, Youth of the Walamut, Zaira Rivera, Zordarama, and Zlokop Niponi. A big thank you to my $3 patrons, Angelina Farnan, Kilon Constance, Daryl De Rosario, Eden Corlett, Catherine Parsons, Lindsay Ann, Mary H, Monica Wykers, Nella Nerdy Kathy, Syke Zera, Rebecca C, Renee Church, Ringlov, Tangwat and Asir Cool, Wendy Foreman. And a thank you to my $1 patrons, 1 anonymous patron, Elise Borland, Brandon Pacheco, Couture Helvetica, Emilia Bronson, Jamie Arsenault, Jolie Sullivan, Kayla Vavra, Kelly Ash, Chris Perez, Lauren at Tugboat Plants, Lorian Subramaniam, Luzmin Fernandez, Neely Spicer, Olivia Chinmuller, Pacific NW Plant Lady, and Tracy the Eyebiller.